1.31.
Are there any native speaker accents that you find especially difficult to understand?
Anyone with a broad regional accent is going to be a challenge for non-native speakers. And from my personal experience, the accents that I would put into this category are in no particular order. Ireland, Liverpool, the North East, Glasgow and the far north of Scotland. And I've, again, personally never been to the States. But just watching films, I sometimes struggle with accents from the deep south. One of my favourite films is No Country for Old Men, but until this day, I've got no idea what Tommy Lee Jones says in the closing scenes of the film.
How comfortable do you feel with your own accent?
I think I've reached a good place with my accent. It's mine, and I'm happy with it. But it's been a journey to get to this place. And when I was a student at Warsaw University, I did a comparative Polish-English phonetics class, which was very, very useful along that journey. And I learned lots about the mistakes that I was making in English because of my mother tongue. And so I consciously worked to improve my pronunciation. And in the end, I sort of sounded a bit like the Oxford English Dictionary. And when I first came to England, the people I met would say, just after a few exchanges, and say, "God, you sound posh." Funnily enough, it didn't sound like a compliment. But of course, living here, I lost the posh edge quite quickly.
Do you find it easier to understand native or non-native speakers of English?
I think the closer any speaker is to the standard pronunciation, whether they are native or non-native, it's going to be relatively easy to understand. And at the same time, a strong regional accent or a really strong foreign accent is going to be an issue. And it can make communication really difficult. But at the same time, again, if you are exposed to a certain type of accent for quite a long time, that sort of familiarity really helps because you get used to the melody of how somebody speaks. And I suppose that, just to give you an example, the people who come from the Nordic countries are actually really easy to understand. They've got a very clear, very beautifully articulated way in which they speak English, so they're a pleasure to listen to.